Welcome to the Veterans Impact Show, where our commitment is to help, hope, and healing of our veteran family and our nation. I'm Jim Blythe, a U.S. Navy veteran and a certified senior advisor. Join us as we continue the mission of leadership and commitment to our communities and our great country. Why, you never know where we're going to go or who you're going to meet. We invite you to join in, plug in, and share in what we do. This is your Veterans Impact Show. Hey, what a great day we've got. I mean, this is good. And the reason I say that is I have the number one Marine in the United States, in my opinion. Welcome aboard, Chuck Wright.
Hey, thank you for having me, and happy birthday to all my favorite squids and rustpeckers.
You got it. You got it. And by the way, just so the audience can know, 10 years ago, you and I started this program together. You were originally the first one, and then I was brought in, and we had some of the most fantastic people that I'd ever met, and you had all the connections. You knew everybody. We had Clint Bruce. We had Mike Thornton. We had Jim Dolan, Domingo Garcia.
We were just talking about David Vobora, who founded the Adaptive Training Foundation, and they are 10 years old this year.
Yeah.
One of my favorite veteran service organizations.
I got my ring from David Vobora, my 22 kill ring. I don't wear it because it hangs on everything, but that's how far back we go. And I got to tell you, Chuck, you have been amazing. And when I jokingly say number one Marine, I'm really not joking. You are the head of the Gunny Golf Tournament, which supports the Dallas Veterans Homeless Veterans. I'm sure I can't remember the name, but it's the Gunny Golf Tournament.
Homeless
right?
Veteran Services of Dallas.
Right. You're on the board of that and of Ken Watterson's Homeless Veterans Resource Facility, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You are now commissioner in the Texas Veterans Commission. You became one of the members of the benefits team that did all of the grants for the Texas Veterans Commission. You also were head of Toys for Tots for 1 year. You've been head of the Marine Corps Ball. Let's see, you also were very involved, and maybe you headed up Wreaths Across America. I don't remember what your job was, but we had a ball out there, and I did one of the most amazing interviews, thanks to you, of that beautiful mother who planted the wreath on her son's grave for Wreaths Across America. That was Mary Bush, wasn't it?
Mary Coursey Bush. Her son was Peter Coursey, excuse me. Yeah, and that's, for those that don't know, and we're coming up on Wreaths Across America, it's going to be December 14th. If you've not been to the DFW National Cemetery, it is one of the prettiest spots in Dallas. It sits in a valley. It is just south of the old NAS Dallas, if you know where that is, out in Grand Prairie. And it's next to Mountain Creek Lake, and that's the creek that goes through, creates a valley. And the cemetery basically goes from the hill on the north side down, and it's going southwest, and then it comes up on the other side. And then you have Dallas Baptist University. Sorry, blanked on that for a second, which is an absolutely gorgeous campus. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. We have our own Facebook page. If you want to jump on, it's DFW Wreaths, just one big word. And we will go out and we will lay wreaths on the grave sites of almost 60,000 veterans.
Now, Chuck, you guys need to raise money to pay for those wreaths. They're not free, correct?
No, they're not free. They're $17 a piece, so they're not expensive. And you know, if everybody does just one, we will make sure every gravesite is covered. And it's truly a moving experience. We get a lot of kids. Kids are welcome. Grandkids are welcome. They really enjoy it. And usually takes a year or two for them to really understand. A lot of fun to talk to the kids.
Okay.
Did I blip out?
Nah, you buffered there for a second, but Sea Cadets, we will be there with Sea Cadets. We've been there with you almost every year that we could. Good weather, bad weather. It's always cold. Tremendous ceremony as well. But it's really heart-rendering to see the families and the kids. And, you know, Chuck, you are all about being Mr. Veteran. You are all about taking care of our brothers and sisters that are veterans, as well as the active duty military. I believe you're also a member of IAVA. Aren't you in that as well?
I was, and that's really how I got my start. I was part of the Texas leadership team, and that led to me being part of several other organizations. And IAVA we don't really know what happened, but they kind of, like a lot of organizations, as they grew, they didn't know how to grow. So, and every organization pretty much goes through that. Not sure what they're doing now, but I appreciate that time because it introduced me to some phenomenal people. And I used that to get introduced to other groups to help. Eventually, I wound up as a board member for a while on the DFW USO board, which was just a great experience. Like a lot of organizations, some of them weren't all that good. Some of them had their problems. And it's funny, and I think a lot of people realize this is true. I probably learned more from the bad experiences than from the good.
Yeah. And
but that's okay. You got to keep learning. You got to keep moving forward.
Right. Chuck, let me just say this,
okay,
Jim.
Brother.
Chuck, since I've come on, I've only been with Jim a little while, but I just want you to know you left some big shoes to fill. I'm still working on that. As I listen
Are you making fun of my feet again? Man, that's so rude.
Well, I got to tell you.
I'm sorry. You were trying to be nice, and I was being a Marine.
But you, yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm getting the jumbo-sized box of crayons for you for Christmas, along with my other gift.
You were too kind. You knew what was on my list.
Chuck, also, you were a helicopter SAR pilot, and you were in the Desert Storm or one of the Desert Wars.
For a guy who's known me for 10 years, I don't think you know anything about me.
Well, I know.
No, I got out just before Desert Storm.
Okay.
And I tried to go back in, but I couldn't get in fast enough. It was already over.
Yeah.
That might be the shortest war in history.
But still, you trained as a SAR rescue pilot. You flew off of the Peleliu. You've been on ships, you know. And Cedric, he always gives me a hard time. And he said, you know, we're the men's department of the Navy.
I've heard that.
It's the
Chuck.
Sorry.
Hey, no, this is too much fun. But I think one of the most amazing things you've ever done is get appointed as a commissioner of the Texas Veterans Commission. Because most people don't know about the Texas Veterans Commission. Truly, civilians don't, but far too many veterans in the state of Texas have no earthly idea what the Texas Veterans Commission is. So I talked to you, and there's 9 pillars, and so I want to talk about the Texas Veterans Commission. One of the things a lot of people don't know is this agency was formed as a state agency in 1927. That's really before the Veterans or administration was started in 1934.
Yep.
We were out in front of that.
Texas leads the way. Always has, always will.
Always will. And so it's really, really important that people know about the TVC for a whole lot of reasons. So why don't we deep down drill into what the Texas Veterans Commission is and what it does, and then we'll take those pillars one by one and describe what they do.
So, and my apologies, they keep having me move around and shift, and Jordan wants to get it just perfect. And thanks, Jordan, for being our producer, and to the lovely Mrs. Diane Blythe, who's hiding out of the way, trying to keep Jim in line. I fear that's
That's a job.
It's a job.
It's a job.
who is the guy who had to push the rock uphill forever? That guy.
Yeah.
Okay, we like to have fun, but talking about something that's very serious. So when I say Texas Veterans Commission, you're right. It's amazing how many people I tell them that's what I do, and they're like, "Well, that's nice. What does it do?" So I can leave you with one word from today: advocacy. We were created and continue to be the leading advocate for veterans in the state of Texas. If you need something, and we will tell people, we do not care what it is. If it is veteran related, call us. Email us. Email is probably the best way. info@tvc.texas.gov. Real simple. If you want to drop my name, say, hey, Commissioner Wright said to do this, go for it. Give us a synopsis of where you're at and what you need. And it might be more than one thing. And like Jim said, we'll go around our key pillar. But keep in mind, and I'll talk about this when I get to FVA, we do grants. So up front, I want to say we are not all things to all people. We don't have the boots on the ground to do it. We don't have the resources to do it. But what's most important is we have the knowledge of who handles what, so that we can walk a veteran into the right doors with all the forms filled out correctly, with everything in order. And I'll talk just real quickly, some of the other agencies, and I call this on the horizontal plane. So some of the other agencies are the Texas Veterans Land Board, which is run by the Texas General Land Office, the Secretary of State's office, and I'll get to that when I talk about the Vetrepreneur Tribe. And I'm going to go through each of these very, very quickly in just a second. Our partners over at the Texas Veterans Network, powered by Combined Arms, the longest title in the space. So I always kid my friends about it that are over there because the title is a mouthful. So we have these relationships. The Texas Workforce Commission, which is run by my friend Joe Esparza. Joe Esparza is another Marine. You'll notice me dropping that a lot, but that's because Marines do a lot, and we wind up getting things done. So as you start to see, and there's more of them than that, if you think of it as the horizontal plane. Now let's talk about the vertical plane. We're going to connect on a 0 or 360-degree axis. You think about it as points on a compass, with the Veterans Administration. And as we go around the Pentagon that we have, we'll talk about some of the different agencies, or some of the different divisions, within VA. Now, you go to the 180 plane, so you come to the south, if you will, of that center point, and you will find all of our nonprofit partners. This year, and I'll say it again when we get to FVA, oh, there we go. So if you're a veteran listening to this, put yourself in the center of that Pentagon, and we're going to wrap around you. And these are the services that we handle directly. But like I said, it doesn't need to be a direct connection for us to connect you to where you need to be. Bear with me. I'll put my glasses on so I can read it. And we're going to start in the very top. Is probably the one we get the most calls for, but we're going to start talking about claims. Now, right now, everybody and their brother is saying, yeah, we do claims, we do claims, we do claims. The difference with TVC, we're not asking you to join our club. We're never going to ask you for money, either on the front side or the back side. We do this for you, the veteran. And to drill down, and it's probably as deep as I'll go on any of these, but I want to talk about what makes our claims department a little bit different. And it's a national program called the National Veterans Legal Services Program. I always have to think about what the letters mean. And I've met the gentleman that runs it. It's a great organization. But where they step in is, how often do we hear from veterans that a claim was either outright denied or didn't come back with the rating that they were looking for? This is our organization that we turn to that will actually argue. Now, here's another thing most veterans don't know. When you appeal a claim, disability claim, it goes to an actual court. And if you don't get your answer there, you have one more round of appeals, and they've got kind of like they've got their own version of the Supreme Court. In the National Veterans Legal Services Program, sorry, I'll get that done eventually. They're actually going to take that claim and argue it in front of the VA or in front of the VA court. So one of the VA courts, they're regional here in Waco. So it's one of the things that we do a little different. Now, let me say this. You went into your DAV, VFW, American Legion, insert wherever you went first. You didn't get the answer you wanted. Nothing stopping you from calling us then. Not going to hurt our feelings. You didn't call us first. We get it. And let's throw the wheel back up and let me move around the wheel. And the second one, if we can read this, if it's legible, it's the Veteran Employment Services. So we have, of our staff, we probably have 40 or 50 people around the state that are dedicated to plugging our veterans into good jobs. Other partnership we had that I mentioned with my Marine friend Joe Sparza is the Texas Workforce Commission. We connect with them. We all use our sources to find a veteran that right spot to land.
Hey, Chuck.
Continuing to move. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. One of the things I've found, because I've known some people that worked very, very closely, and veterans get a huge step up or push ahead of the line when it comes to working with the Texas Workforce Commission. It's an enormous opportunity. And a lot of people don't know because they come back and they go, well, I need a job. Well, let me tell you something. You need to go to Texas Workforce Commission. Now, we're going to take a break. Chuck can't hear the music, I don't think. So we're going to take a break to hear from our sponsors right quick. But this is Chuck Wright, Commissioner of the Texas Veterans Commission. He is also Mr. Marine, Mr. Service, Mr. Veteran in all of Texas, I think. And all he does to help people is just truly amazing. So we're going to come back and keep going through these. These are important. We want you to share this program with as many veterans as you humanly can because they need to know. What they don't know will hurt them, and we're here to help them. We'll be right back after these words. Welcome back, and thanks to our great sponsors, Fairway Independent Mortgage, Healing Thine Heart's Ministry, and Symbios Integrative Health. Now, let's get back to this conversation. Chuck, we're talking with Chuck Wright, Mr. Marine. As I just mentioned a second ago, I have a couple of things I need to talk about. We want to thank DBTV Network and the AUN Network out in Northern California. Special thanks to them, my sponsor, Fairway Independent Mortgage, Symbios Integrative Health, and Healing Thine Heart's Ministries. Yes, all of which do a lot to help us. And it's important that you know that there are men like Chuck Wright that we go to get information, to get help, and get connections. This is one of my closest friends, and he really started this program. I came in on his tail, and I have been absolutely right there with him all the way down the line on some of the other things. So, Chuck, let's go back to the wheel and talk about the benefits. You were talking about Texas Workforce Commission and how you guys partner with them.
Well, that's one of the organizations that we have a memorandum of understanding with. And I normally start this, and so let me kind of go back to it. Veterans will, guys and girls will get out of the military. And it might be 6 weeks. It might be 6 months. It might be 6 years. They don't want anything to do with military. But like a prairie dog, they hit that point in time and they go, wait a minute, I came to Texas because Texas is good for veterans. I can't remember why they're good for veterans. I know I had all those briefings, but all I was doing was getting the block checked so the sergeant major let me check out. So they pop their head up, they start looking around like a prairie dog. That's where we come in. That's where we can really help. As you start to want to find more and more information, and as we were talking about, we have our own employment services division, and we partner with the Texas Workforce Commission. And I want to say something. You keep giving me all this credit. This is my first year as commissioner, and I want to say this about our staff. I get an opportunity to meet with them when we're out and about. I'm the guy who gets to present awards and things like that. I get all the glory jobs. These people have impressed me so much so far. I am just honored to work with so many people who are dedicated to that same purpose that I am, which is serving veterans. We are a small agency. We like to say we are Governor Abbott's most efficient agency, and we are here to serve. But as we move around the wheel, so we've discussed our claims, we've discussed employment services. So, and as I mentioned before, the one word I want you to think of is advocacy, and specifically in healthcare. We will do advocacy. Now, let me talk about one of the comments that I hear. Remember, we're a state agency. We're not the VA. We're not the federal government. But I constantly hear veterans complaining. They've gone to the VA. They don't think the VA has been responsive. They got this problem. They got that problem. Appointment, the litany goes on. We're advocates. Call us. Email us. Let us know what the problem is. And I'm surprised how many times I talk to our healthcare advocacy people when it's like, yeah, they were talking to the wrong person. But here's the problem. You don't know what you don't know. Isn't it nice that you've got some place you can go? And we're at about 3:00 on this, as you're looking around the wheel. Someplace you can go that can help you with that. And it's interesting how quickly we can get many of these problems fixed. Now let's continue along the wheel. Every state has a state veteran agency. Here's the interesting thing. I have fielded calls from people in other states. And because our executive director used to be the president of that association, he knows everybody nationwide. So it is easy for us. We have even helped veterans that are in other states get connected to their service. But where I'm going with this is something that I'm very proud of. Out of the 50 states that have state agencies, we were the first to create a women's veteran initiative, and we are very proud of that. Continuing on, we moved to the 6:00 position. And allow me to come back to this because this is going to be important. This is the Fund for Veteran Assistance. I served as the vice chair on this committee for 8 years. We move over to the Veterans Mental Health Department. So we have our own mental health arm where we support the Military Veteran Peer Network, the MPVN, a great resource. If you're struggling a little bit, if you and your wife are struggling, or your spouse, I should say, this is a great way to get some real low key off the books, but just hang out with some veterans and kind of start to see if maybe there's a more serious problem. Maybe there isn't. But let's find out. And if there is, they will refer you on to actual clinical counseling, which we can do at the VA level, which we can do with many of our nonprofit partners.
Hey, Chuck, by the way,
yeah.
I went through the Military Peer Network suicide prevention training with Steve Scott, a Marine, and Ginger Simonson, Army. It was amazing, and I'm glad I did it. So these kinds of things are available to people through the Military Peer Network. Training, assistance, help.
Yeah. It is amazing. I have always said, and all of this is a function of, and let me make a sports analogy, this is a function of coaching. And very much the military is built on a model of coaching. Our senior officers, our company grade enlisted people, that is what they do with our younger active duty military. That is what we are trying to do as a veteran transitions out of the service. Think of us as your coach. Only the beauty of it is you come get coaching from us. Nobody's going to send you a bill. That's not going to happen.
Okay, Chuck, let's take another break. We've got to do that for our partners. So hang with me for a second. Again, we're talking with Chuck Wright. This is Cedric White, minister, marriage counselor. That's Chuck Wright. He's a veteran counselor par excellence. And if you want a great golf tournament, go sign up for Gunny Golf. It's a lot of fun, and it's a great, great tournament. Also, we mentioned Wreaths Across America, one of my favorite charities. Let's talk about that later, but let's get back from our partners the words that they need. So we'll be right back. Welcome back, and thanks to our great sponsors, Fairway Independent Mortgage, Healing Thine Hearts Ministry, and Symbios Integrative Health. Now, let's get back to this conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, Chuck Wright, the one and only. Hey, Chuck, we've gone through the wheel a little bit. You want to continue the conversation, but I want to talk about educational services as well.
Okay. We absolutely can do that. And let's jump. Oh. I don't have they don't do this in the same order I do, so I'm going to change my presentation.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about education services, and we're going to come back to what I call the Vetrepreneur Tribe. So in the education field, if you were blessed to enter the service from the state of Texas, once your GI Bill benefits have run out, you qualify for the Hazelwood Act. Travis will start UTD in the spring, going to school on the Hazelwood Act. So he's excited about that because it provides up to 150 hours of tuition. And we're setting this up where if he's going to wind up getting a master's, he'll have enough hours to do that because he's gotten his associates at Collin College. So we actually administer the Hazelwood Act, but I mentioned the GI Bill, and most of our veterans are going to go to school on the GI Bill. And guess what? Everything that I talk about, when we're talking about the VA, you are dealing with a huge bureaucracy.
Really?
And there's a point that I want to make. I want to come back to claims because I want to talk about the difference between claims and benefits. But you wind up having problems with the GI Bill. Email us, call us. We can help. We are your advocate. It's not that we do the GI Bill. So we don't process it. We don't do all of that. But we can talk to the people at the bureaucracy that we lovingly call the VA. But if you keep in mind it's a bureaucracy, if you keep in mind it has all the natural inefficiencies of a large organization, be it a military organization, be it a government organization, be it a large corporation. So it really helps if you know the right person to call to start out with. We're that right person because we know who those people are. So that's education, and we're striving to make that better. The last two I want to talk about, one of my favorites is what I call the Vetrepreneur Tribe. It's our veterans who want to be entrepreneurs. And that is a great subset. We can be tremendously helpful. Keep in mind, in the state of Texas, if you are a recognized veteran business, you are free of franchise taxes for 5 years. We want those veteran businesses to have a chance to get up and started. To get that, we will help you coordinate with the Secretary of State's office to get that designation for you, that you are designated as a Texas veteran business.
Chuck, may I ask you a question?
As we're going around the wheel,
I
want to talk about the Fund for Veteran Assistance Committee for just a second because of what it does. But more importantly, if you are a veteran who is involved with a veteran nonprofit, a veteran service organization, a municipality or a county government that wants to help veterans, our grant window for the next cycle of grants will be open until November 12th. If you go to our website, it's tvc.texas.gov. Real easy to remember. Now you'll hear me talk about that a lot. Go to the grants section. There's a couple of videos for you to watch. Watch those. There's some Q&A there, but it will also walk you through how to get that grant process started. And our people are really good about helping people, first timers, get that going. The reason I wanted to talk about this is when I first started, we awarded $17 million in grants.
Where did
My
that
first commit? Oh,
Where did that money
you need
come
me to
from?
stop?
Yeah, where did that money come from?
Oh, let me finish the story and then I'll tell you. This year, for my first meeting, it was very appropriate that I got to sit and vote on $44 million in money going to over 46,000 veterans in the state of Texas for the next cycle. And that money is coming from scratch-off tickets from the lottery. So I tell everybody when you do your Christmas cards, always spend $1 to throw a scratch-off ticket in there. You know, if the churches can do bingo, we can do scratch-offs. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it.
I love it.
All right, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
That's okay.
The
You do that a
Entrepreneur
lot.
Program,
I'm used to it.
was that something that Patrick Alcorn was involved in? Because you've taken me there several times, and it was amazing what they did to train entrepreneurs and help entrepreneurs.
Yes, I introduced you to Patrick. No, it wasn't. Patrick has created out at the University of Texas at Arlington. Patrick is a West Point grad. He's in my top 5 of favorite West Point grads. But he has created a seminar, workshop. We'll call it a workshop, but it's called Battleground to Boardroom. Sorry, I had to think about that for a second.
Yeah.
And they just had it, unfortunately. But it was a great seminar, and it's the kind of thing that I would love to see. And I know that Texas A&M has a similar program. I have not been down there to see it yet. I think I'm going to wait until after November 30th, although they may hate me even more than that. And that's an inside joke between Jim and I. We're both the University of Texas fans, so we're always gigging it to our Aggies. I'm mirrored, so I never know which one of my hands good. And I tried to do that, and it didn't come out as fast as I would have liked to. But what I want our veterans to take away from that is you are the one who is inside of that Pentagon as we run around talking about all of the services we provided and advocacy. We are your advocate. Info at tvc.texas.gov.
And that's really important to know. And so, Jordan, can we put up that wheel just one more time real quick, please? I think it's important for people to see. Also, isn't that wheel on the TVC website?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so you can get an idea. Now, as far as I know, you say there is a Veterans Commission in every state to various levels. And I was told, California has an act similar to the Hazelwood Act, but it's not as good as the Hazelwood Act. And so we really lead the nation in terms of veteran programs.
Well, and I would call it veteran support.
Yeah.
Texas loves her veterans. There is a reason we are number 1 in the nation in veteran population, and that gap is growing because we are very, very veteran friendly. Love our veterans here. The governor loves our veterans here. I am so honored in many ways. This job is in the veteran space right now is the pinnacle of my career. I don't know if anything else could come along. I'm not going to D.C. unless they pay me a whole lot of money because I don't like D.C.
Well, not only that, but you couldn't have a place to live up there if you didn't get paid a whole lot of money. And
I just hang out in my brother's basement.
Well, you helped me to get on the TVC Communications Board, which
Yep.
it got sunsetted, but I had a chance to work with the people you're talking about. And you're right. It's not a typical bureaucracy. It's not a typical state agency or government agency of what we think about. Those people are amazing. And their passion, they do a lot with an awful little. A very small team.
We are lean. We are very efficient. We understand our space. And when I say that, I'm really talking about on the employee side. They work in a particular space. Now, the beauty of it is they're talking to a veteran. They kind of know, because we're small, what everybody else does. So we're not just going to, and if you call VA claims, and this is a point that I was going to make earlier, but it's important to make. A lot of people don't understand it. VA claims and VA benefits, two separate divisions up in Washington that do not talk to each other. Our people will talk to each other, but our people also know people on the benefit side. And when I talk about benefits, it may be a pension, especially when a veteran passes away. And that spouse is sitting there going, well, I know I can do this, I know I can do that, but how do I get that set up? How do I get that done? So these are the things that we are there for, to support our veterans here in the state of Texas. Advocacy, info at tvc.texas.gov.
That's important. So if you know a veteran, you know a young veteran that's just gotten out, and I kind of went through this and I acquainted him. Matter of fact, I took him to lunch with Chuck, and I got to tell you, he didn't get it. But at one point in time, my phone's going to ring saying, Jim, can you reconnect me with Chuck Wright? And it's the same thing, Chuck.
Jim,
I got to tell you,
Chuck, I was that vet. I was that vet that got out. I love my time in the Navy, right? But I got out. Had really, I'm done. I'm done with the military, and I'm going on about my life. And for years, there were people who were telling me about veteran benefits that I could get and so forth and so on. It was not until I got back engaged with helping veterans that I come to realize, oh, wait a minute, there's some help that I can obtain myself from the Texas Veteran Commission, from the VA. So the story you're telling is so apropos and so right on point that so many people miss out on those benefits. So we're trying to get the message out. That's what we're about.
Absolutely. And Chuck, one of the things you mentioned is the Texas Veterans Land Board. That's not a part of your domain.
That's part of the Texas General Land Office, run by Dr. Don Buckingham, who, quite frankly, I'm a big fan of.
They working with, and again, a lot of people, and I've been in the mortgage business for 30 years. I didn't know about the Texas Veterans Land Board till really you and I started working together. And I got to tell you, it was amazing. And you can bundle up with a VA home loan. You can do things. You can buy ag land. That's an amazing program. I've never heard of it anywhere else. And remember, my company, Fairway, we are nationwide. We're the biggest non-bank lender in the nation. And you've got assets and resources that are just amazing. You talk about veteran benefit. I did a program with Michael Krause, who is the head of Texas Veterans Benefits down in Waco. What an amazing guy, and the commitment that he had. And at that time, he was really, really, really working to help veterans with the PACT Act. A lot of veterans don't know about the PACT Act. That's amazing. How did that happen? And I know that helped me. I know that has helped thousands of veterans. And so you want to know about that? Again, County Veteran Service Officer, call TVC and ask them, or go to info at TVC or texas.gov. There's a lot that people come here and don't know about.
Yes.
You're right.
We train the county veteran service officers, but the county veteran service officers are run individually by their own states. But we help them with claims. I have met a bunch of them up here. In North Texas, I'm kind of working North Texas right now. If I have one ask, and it's a big ask, I'm just kidding. If you are on Facebook or LinkedIn, like us, follow us to get more information at the Texas Veterans Commission. They were a little bit shocked when I came in because I have said I want to have 25,000 followers on LinkedIn by the end of the year. And by the end of my 6-year term, I want to have 100,000. And one of the people there looked at me and said, "But Chuck, VA's only got 92." And I said, "Hey, I don't want to limit myself."
Well, you're going to get there. And again, we want people to know about it and why. One of the other things, Chuck, that I think is so important that you have really showed me the way on is participation, getting involved with Marine Corps League, Navy League, AUSA, the Air Force Group, Jewish War Veterans Group, getting involved with VFW, American Legion. How many things are you involved with? But they have given you clients, they've given you friends, they've given you a wonderful opportunity. Yeah, connections. And you are Mr. Connection, no doubt about it. And you just moved all over your office, didn't you?
Running out of
I
power.
had to, and I apologize for that. My battery on my computer,
Yeah.
I need to replace it. I can't believe it ran down so quickly.
Uh-oh.
And I'm trying to get lined up here. I probably could have started here initially, but I didn't. There
That's
we
fine.
go.
There you go.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I forgot to turn that light out because
Well, that's okay.
We like your halo.
Yeah, it wasn't a problem sitting in the other seat.
Don't worry about
I
it.
got to get an
But,
extension
hey.
cord to keep. I just can't believe how quickly my battery's going down. So
Hey, Chuck.
that's.
You know what's cool? Diane just said it. You got a halo.
Now you got it.
Oh, I got a halo.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's about the only time in my life I have a halo. Let me tell you.
Of all of the things that you have done since I have known you for 10 years, I would say you said the pinnacle of it is being a commissioner with TVC.
Yeah.
And
This is where I have the opportunity to have the biggest reach. And with that, to make that happen, I need all of the listeners to follow us because my sole job is to increase the awareness of who TVC is, what we do, and how we support our veterans.
okay,
So,
we'll go back to that again on Facebook.
Sorry.
It's just
You
Texas.
Navy guys will like this, but some of the listeners are going, "Man, you're making me seasick." I'll try to
Well,
stop moving.
Both Cedric and I have been shipboard, and
That's
we
right.
are Navy. But again,
As
I've got
am
to
a
say,
year of my life on Navy boats.
oh yeah, and I got to tell you again, thank you for being. What a wonderful job you're doing, and congratulations. And we're about to bring this ship back into the dock, so we're going to please stick around. We're going to be right back in a few minutes after these words from our sponsors. I want to thank again DBTV Network, Fairway, Healing Thine Heart, and Symbios. And I don't know what button you're pushing, but that's funny.
Sorry.
All
I
right.
thought you were already out.
No,
while
we're
in
not
commercial,
out.
I'm gonna
We're
put
not
this
out.
light
Stick around. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, what a great guy. We'll be right back after these words. Welcome back, and thanks to our great sponsors, Fairway Independent Mortgage, Healing Thine Heart's Ministry, and Symbios Integrative Health. Now, let's get back to this conversation.
Well, welcome back. I'm Cedric White, co-host here at the Veterans Impact Show, here with my partner, Jim Blythe, the host, Diane behind the scene, Jordan back there running things, and we've got the Texas Commissioner, Chuck Wright, here with us today, as Jim calls him, the Marine, Mr. Marine. And we're okay with that. We, as squids, we'll let him get by with that. Listen, Chuck, one thing I want you to be mindful of, you know some good friends of ours that they have an organization called Marriage Management that has been funded with grants by the Texas Veteran Commission for a few years. Our organization, Healing Thine Hearts, work very close with Marriage Management. We go all over the state of Texas to do marriage retreats and things like that for veterans. So I want to say just a word of thanks for what you guys have enabled us to do there. That's been outstanding. So thank you so much for that.
Now,
we can't hear him.
Cedric, oops. You changed something on your computer, brother.
We can't hear you, Chuck.
Oh,
there we go.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
Cedric
also
also wanted you to mention this program you've got coming up for families and children. Yes. And Jordan, can you put that up, please?
Yeah, we are, and we want veterans to be aware of this. We have what we're calling Living in Excellence. This is a parent and youth conference, a summit that we have coming up. It's 2 days, 2 Saturdays in a row, the 19th and the 16th of November. And the purpose of this is to bridge the gap. What we're seeing in our office, we do family and relationship counseling. And what we're seeing is a huge gap between parents and youth in being able to communicate and understand what's going on. So we've got this Living X Summit that's coming up. We're looking to bridge the gap. We're going to be doing everything from education, from social, emotional skills. We're doing what we call OYO, own your own. We're going to do some entrepreneurial training and to give the parents an understanding that every child doesn't go the same way. So there's education. We're going to have state troopers there. We're going to have subject matter expert. Jordan, if you go to the next slide. We're going to have people there to talk to strengthen relationship. We have, just in brief, we have children that are 8 years old that are dealing with suicide. And so we want to talk to parents so that they don't just brush these things aside when children are talking about these ideations, and we want to help them with that. So there's a lot going to be going on, and we want to make sure that our veterans and their families have access to this. So go out to healingthineheart.org, healingthineheart.org, and sign up, parents and children. We want you there. It's from age 12 to 18. Parents, we're going to set you in a different room. Youth, we're going to set you in a different room, but we're going to talk about the same thing so that we can bridge the gap for our parents and our youth today.
Oh, man.
November 9th and the 16th.
9th and the 16th. Mm-hmm. And Chuck, when is the Gunny Golf Tournament?
May 9th of 2025, which will be our celebration of the 250th anniversary of the Marine Corps.
How exciting.
A lot of fun.
Okay, I want an invitation to the Marine Corps Ball that year. Diane and I need to go. We want to be part of that.
We are working on an extremely good speaker. We actually have a couple of the past commandants on the line, and both of them are known for their speaking ability in public. But yeah, if you want to go, and you want to go this year, we've still got tickets left. You can buy tickets online.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll do that. When is that?
It is going to be the 22nd or 23rd. I think it's the 23rd. It's the last Saturday. It's the last Saturday in November. It's the Saturday before Thanksgiving.
Okay, great. We'll look it up. We'll be there. And
cool.
Again, I have a very, very, very special thank you for all you do, man.
Yes, sir.
And again, people want to know about benefits in Texas. You're going to go to tvc.texas.gov, correct?
Correct. And if you just want to straight email us, you got a specific question, info@tvc.texas.gov.
Now, how many years did you spend in the Marine Corps?
8.
And you're getting ready to spend 8 in TVC?
Well, this term will be 6 years, so I am rapidly approaching the end of year 1. My first year was a short year. I took over for a commissioner who resigned.
Well, I tell you what, I'm sorry to see him go, but I'm glad that you're on board because you bring a whole lot to the table.
Thanks.
Well, Chuck,
I appreciate it, my friend.
you and I started this a long time ago, and look where we both are. It is absolutely fantastic. And all you got to do is be on board, participate, volunteer. It's amazing who you'll meet, correct?
Absolutely. Pop out of that prairie dog hole and get out and get after it.
And it means a lot. It means a lot in business. Now, a rather quick plug, Lone Star Wealth Strategies, I believe that's your company.
Yep.
You are a financial advisor. You are my financial advisor. You're my wife's financial advisor, the trust's financial advisor. Chuck, you are one of the best at that, and you have done us an unbelievable job. So if people want to know about that, where can they reach you?
Wasn't ready for that question. Give me a call, 214-491-8605. I actually have a Facebook page. It's Lone Star Wealth Strategies. So you can pop on Facebook and say hi. The email is CWWright, 2 W's, at Eagle Strategies. That's our registered investment advisor group.com. So any of those, and there I am.
There you are. All right, let's close with a prayer. Lord God, we are so eternally grateful and thankful for all you do and all you do in putting a hedge of protection around our active duty military and our first responders, those men and women who run into the fire instead of away from it. Thank you, dear God, for men who stand up like Chuck Wright and say, I'm here. What can I do to help you? Thank you, dear God, for all of our veterans who stand up and say, what can I do to serve? Thank you, dear God, for what they do for this nation, to help this nation come back together. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In your holy name we pray, amen.
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 And
God
so
bless.
we're so thankful for having Chuck Wright on. See you next week.